afternoon, Gora.
Hi, Batandwa.
How you doing today?
All good, all good. Looking forward to my boys playing football just now.
Oh
So
yes,
I'm in a good space.
oh yes. And you took me around a bit to check out your setup, and it looks quite impressive.
Thank you, Batandwa. At my school, Islamia, we've always had a strong, foundation when it comes to sports. But since the pandemic, we've taken a bit of a knock. But I'm trying to revive it to where it was once again. But I think we're getting there slowly.
Okay, nice. And then before we talk about Islamia, last time we spoke on this platform, you were on holiday in Cape Town,
Yes.
and I made a joke saying that maybe one day Cape Town is going to be home. A few years later, think about that was 2023. How's Cape Town been so far?
Cape Town's home now. We've been living in Cape Town for 2 years. I live down in the deep south in a Sun Valley, beautiful little coastal, close to the coastal waters. And I travel to school every morning. I leave a paradise in the morning and I go home to a paradise. Cape Town is just a beautiful city. For those that are living here, I think if they don't realize what they've got, I'm sure they do. But it's really stunning. It's a far cry from Johannesburg, which is very different. But Johannesburg is still very close to my heart.
Yeah. Do you still go back to Johannesburg?
As often as I can. All my family is there, some good friends. Although I must tell you that I'm making a whole new set of friends here. Cape Town has opened up a whole new world of people. I'm getting to know the football history, the sports history of Cape Town, and it's got a rich history of players that played in the segregated time of our country's history. And there's so many people that I'm getting to know right now, and I'm just appreciating them more than anything.
I believe in your playing days, especially with Dynamos and the team before that.
I was with Bluebell, Swaraj, and then I went to Dynamos, Vereniging All Boys. That was the first team that I started, and of course, then I went to Pirates and then to Rabali. Yes, Pirates is on the verge of winning the league, so it's exciting.
So just during your time before Pirates, were you playing against teams from Cape Town?
Yes,
In that league called the Federation.
When I started playing professional football, which was at a very, very young age, I played for the very first time against Santos. And Santos actually came home to play in Vereniging when Vereniging All Boys was a professional club then. And then a couple of years later, in 1985, when I was still a teenager, I played for Bluebells, and then I came to Cape Town for the very first time to play once again against Santos on a Friday evening. And then we played against Glendine, who was coached by Bobby Solomons at the time, on the Sunday. So that was my contact. And over the years, when I got to Dynamos and then to Orlando Pirates, we came to Cape Town, then it was Cape Town Spurs, Hellenic, Santos. So I've had my fair share of battles with Cape Town teams. I'm happy to be here. I know quite a few of those players that I played with. Well, I see them now.
Yes.
And we have lots of good memories to go back to.
And speaking of Bobby Solomons, he's at Camps Bay now.
Yes.
Camps Bay Football Club.
Yes, I know Bobby is there right now. I sort of bump into Bobby every now and again. I know he's having a good time there and he's doing some good work.
Okay. And the teams that you mentioned now, obviously at that time they would have been playing at the highest level, and now we don't see them at the highest level. Like Santos, no longer around, or
I think that's one of the big pities, one of the big tragedies of Cape Town football. is that Santos is no more, not as we knew. Santos had become the champion of the township player, the players that came from the impoverished backgrounds. They saw Santos as an opportunity to get to the big time, and Santos did provide that opportunity. But since the demise of Santos, there's been other teams that have come up, but not to the extent or to the success rate that Santos achieved. I know we have Stellenbosch right now, but here in Cape Town, from my experience, Stellenbosch is not really regarded as a Cape Town team
No.
because they're so far out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Sundowns, not regarded as a Johannesburg team. They're more of a Tshwane outfit or a Pretoria outfit, if you like. We're hoping now that Cape Town City is in the playoffs.
Yes.
There's a good chance that they maybe brings football back here again. So fingers crossed.
But when we counted Cape Town Spurs, Santos, there was a stage when Hellenic was there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there was a time when Vasco was also playing at
Vasco.
the top. So those were football was very strong in Cape Town.
Yeah.
It's still strong right now. Unfortunately, it's not very well represented as it should be in the highest league. We have only Stellenbosch, and we have Cape Town teeming with talent. There's talent everywhere in Cape Town right now. My school team plays in a very competitive league where we have a lot of academy boys, and there's a lot of talent, but there's just no outlet for them at the moment.
Is that including your schoolboys?
So yes, there's what they say, 0.01% of the boys, of those that play amateur, is going to make it at the highest level. So it's a real struggle to get to the top, but it always helps if there's a pathway to get to the top. If they don't see a road to the top, if they don't recognize the path, then it becomes a source of frustration for them, and they stop believing that they can get to the top. I think it's very much the case with a lot of our learners, with a lot of the players, especially the very talented ones. Invariably, most of them will end up playing Sunday football, unfortunately. But those that dream, and well, I think a lot of things have to align. You have to have the opportunity. You need to be good enough. You need to be strong enough, and of course, you'll get to the top. But there's a lot of factors to take into account.
Yeah, and I think the one that you mentioned, the pathway, is very important. So as it stands now, what would be the pathway for a player from Islamia as it stands now?
Funny enough, or strangely enough, that we speak about it. I had one of my very talented youngsters that came into them. He's in the under-19 team, and he was chatting to me. He went overseas last year, and of course, he's now writing matric, but he's always thinking about his football future. And he said to me that that he's been scouted by the Cape Town districts to represent Cape Town, or at least that's what he said, and to play in the engine. And that is not a path that I know of. He alerted me to that path. So it's not science. It's almost like happenstance. If you're lucky enough, you can go there. Now I compare that to maybe the pathway of the cricketers and the rugby players. They come at good schools, they get scouted, they get moved, they have an opportunity, They know where they stand. It's not like that with soccer, unfortunately. So I'm to come back to my youngsters here. I don't exactly know how to guide them if they want to go right to the top, knowing that it's so cutthroat.
Mm. And the connection between school and club soccer, from your perspective, what's your view on school soccer in Cape Town?
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the schools. Look, it's only in my second year now that I'm at Islamia. We play against some really nice schools. On this past week, we played against Grooteskiel, a really talented school. We play against Norman Henschelwood. We play against Sinton, and these are schools which have a strong football tradition, and we play against these schools. And I think the talent there is strong, there is a lot of talent at these schools. I'm very, very impressed with them. So yeah, I just don't know where those boys are gonna go after.
And then just in closing, we just finished the club season now. A lot of the leagues are wrapping up, and we're looking towards the World Cup. And perhaps next time we meet again, we'll talk about the World Cup. But quickly, Bafana in the World Cup, how are we looking?
So remember the last time we met, we spoke about our development structures or whatever. And I wasn't very hopeful about Bafana even qualifying for the World Cup. I think that was about 3 years. We spoke straight after the World Cup, or when it was the World Cup year, 2022.
Yeah.
But I must compliment the Hugo Bros. I think he's done a phenomenal job. I don't think there's any doubt that we've got talent in South Africa, but to get the best out of our players, to bring the boys together, to have a cohesive unit, to get them to play, I think he's done a really, really good job. We all will never agree with his team that he's selecting. We all have our favorites, but he's done really, really well. And of course, we'll be rooting for Bafana. We always will. I don't think we will be if we get to the next round, it will be a bonus. It's just how it is. Yeah, the strongest teams are going to dominate again, once again. I think Bafana will. I think if they start well against Mexico, it could be a good World Cup for them. Anything beyond the second round is a massive, massive victory for us. And Sundowns proved when they were there, Sundowns proved that it can be done.
Oh, yes.
Sundowns proved that it can be done. And they played really, really good football. But in the end, they were naive. They got caught out by the experience of the other team.
Speaking of naive, they were sticking to the Shushan and Piano philosophy.
And what we liked about that is they stuck to their philosophy.
Yeah.
But
and
when
it put
you
us
play
on
like that, just remember, the higher you get, the higher you get, the window of mistakes becomes smaller. The margin for error becomes smaller. You make mistakes, you get punished. So you can play that game, but sometimes you need to play the percentages. You can't always play with that flair. You need to read the room, read the situation. And unfortunately, we made a few mistakes and we got punished for it. But it showed that we can challenge at the highest level.
And who's your second favorite for the World Cup apart from Bafana? So,
I've always liked Argentina.
Oh, of course, yeah. Maradona.
I like Messi for many reasons. It reminded me of Diego Maradona, who I feel is the greatest player ever. I don't think there's anyone that comes close to him. Of course, I'm very biased. I appreciate the Maradona's background, his township football, his instincts, his skills, where he comes from, the way he handled himself in difficult situations. With a little more luck, I wish we could have seen a bit more of him. But I really like Spain this time, and Lamine Yamal. I'm hoping that he has a really good tournament. He excites me. That Spanish team excites me. I watch how they play. I don't think Argentina's got the skill to match them. They've got a good work ethic. They've got some good players. But to me, this World Cup, Spain will be the team to beat.
France?
Always. Maybe.
Or Africa 11.
I almost didn't between Spain and France. Very little to choose between them. Very little. While I do think that Mbappe is going to be a problem with his big ego, he's going to upset the apple cart there. It's going to be a problem with Mbappe wanting to hog the headlines. Spain doesn't have that problem. Maybe that could be a problem for France. Hopefully not.
Brazil, Neymar, last dance.
I don't believe Brazil, although in the World Cup anything can happen. Brazil does not excite me. Not anymore.
Okay, yeah.
They're too predictable. The players we all know. We see them every week. We can make this thing. Brazil, the aura of Brazil of yesteryear is gone.
Okay, let's leave it at that and let's go catch some football. See what Islamia has got in store.
Thank you, Batandwa.